Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the wind down. Just kidding. You know I get excited. We're not there yet. But there could be wine in our coffee mugs.
There's not.
You'll never know. Or whiskey. I mean, who knows? It's Thursday, but we are here. We're nearing the end of the week. Welcome to Coffee with Kem and Hills. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Yeah.
You know, Thursday.
We've got our blazers.
Yes. It's blazer day.
And our black tanks. No, we didn't call each other and
plan this ahead of time. It's not like on Thursdays we wear black blazers or pink.
No, we're not there yet.
We're not there.
But you never know. It could happen. We're going to try and start a trend over here on Coffee with Kem and Hills. Okay, well, we have some fun things happening today.
A little bit different show today.
It is a little bit of a different show today. We have a special guest on. We're going to get into that later because I want to keep the mystery, which means I want to keep you tuned in. But first, don't worry. We're still going to do some hot topics. So should we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so there's an article from the Wall Street Journal. People don't save enough for emergencies, but there are ways to fix that. I thought this was interesting, but I also felt like I was being called out directly. When it went into like the psychological barriers that people have that keeps them from creating that emergency savings fund. And I was like, oh, it's me.
So it spoke directly to you.
Yes.
Or about you.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I felt like exposed and a little vulnerable and my palms started sweating, but it's okay. And okay, one of them is just the human tendency not to take action.
Inertia.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, feels like it's way easier to be lazy and not start something than it is to do it.
Of course it is. Okay, but so overall people want to do this, but they just don't follow through. That is the issue, right? But a survey did say that 71% of workers would contribute to an emergency savings fund if their employer offered one. 87% said that they would do so if their employer made matching contributions.
Right.
It's incentive.
I mean, who wouldn't? It's free money that your employer would be giving you, which makes sense.
Right.
So that
This
should be
whole
like
article
at
is
99%.
urging,
But
yes. The article is urging employers to
be the impetus for change.
Yes.
Because apparently people won't do it unless it's coming out automatically from their paychecks.
Yes.
It's really what the entire article kind of is going into.
Yes, but then it also identifies the psychological barriers that most people have that maybe we need to start addressing.
Yeah.
What was the other psychological barrier? That one was the one that really resonated with me.
They went into exactly, there's some things that you can do to make sure you do start saving from a psychological standpoint. So one of the things is to make it an active choice, specifically for employers, because this article definitely talked about like employers being the ones who are changing this mindset for employees. And so making sure that when you're signing up for your benefits, if they offer an emergency savings fund or a place to put some money from your paycheck every time you get paid, that they have to make it an active choice.
Right.
So you have to say yes or no that you will elect into it. You can't just like skip over it.
And you would assume most people would say yes,
yeah.
right? No.
You would assume. But some people actually definitely wouldn't, you know?
Well, a study was done as well that said that most people would be willing to put aside $5 a day than they would $150 a month. So just psychologically, that seems more feasible to people, even though the number amounts to the same.
Yeah.
And that I thought, I kind of get it. Because it's like a cup of coffee, right? $5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, instead of like popping by Starbucks in the morning, I'll just like put that cash aside, right?
And that's one of the reasons why a lot of financial advisors and financial influencers are saying that, you know, you stop having your coffee and put that towards your savings, and it's an easier way to save that money.
Yeah.
I need my coffee.
Yep.
But
it's very true. Oh, according to another study by the Federal Reserve, 4 in 10 Americans wouldn't be able to come up with $400 in a financial emergency. That's kind of scary because like things come up, like I think we all experienced over the pandemic. And yeah, I mean, if this is something that, you know, close to most people aren't really planning for, it's hard to imagine like going through your lifetime not being confronted with something happening and you needing to pull from, you know, or hopefully funds that are available to you and not from funds that aren't available to you.
Right. And people who aren't able to, who don't have an emergency fund set aside, turn to, you know, those payday loans, which have high interest rates, or putting it on a credit card, which again could be higher interest rates, which means you're paying more and more than the actual expense in the long term. And obviously that's what happens if you don't have money set aside. So that's why it is such an important thing for people to have an emergency fund set up, so that you can put yourself in a better financial position going forward.
Yeah. And the article touched on gig workers, which I don't know if it was, if like my husband and I like specifically fall under this category.
You kind of do, I feel like.
We do in a sense, because so if we're in the Broadway community, right? So we go from show to show to show, and there's always a time in between shows where you're in between. So you're constantly in the mindset of saving for the emergency, which is in between gigs, basically.
Yeah, right.
The difference is, though, that, you know, we're a part of a union and we have benefits, right? We have a 401k and a pension, and we are given health care as well through our work. But you do need to be working to get those things. So I thought that was interesting how they were talking about how do people in, you know, working gigs, you know, save for those kinds of emergencies. And it's sort of a different mindset. I know for us it is constantly saving for emergencies. So to me, this is just like life. I'm like, that's just what you do. Right. You pack it all away into that emergency savings fund. It sounds terrifying, doesn't it?
It's not for everybody, right?
It's definitely not for everybody. My parents always say that to me. They're like, I don't know how you do this. I would be so stressed out. But like, it always ends up working out in the end. You just kind of go, something else will come up. It's different when you have kids. You start to say, oh, maybe I need to take this more seriously. But you know, it's part of the job. Yeah.
Yes, I could not handle that. Up and down and who knows where and all that jazz.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah.
You go right from the top, right back to the bottom again, over and over again.
And one of the other things the article touches on too is having two different savings accounts. If you have more than one, you actually end up saving more, which is why having an emergency fund set aside as your emergency fund actually makes sense aside from your other savings. Just because you are putting money in both, but you kind of don't think of your emergency savings fund as one that you can dip into unless you have an actual emergency.
Right. I feel like that's what probably a lot of people do. They just put it into the savings fund.
Right.
And they're like, well, that's where I'll go if there's an emergency.
Right.
But like really like label it.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't you?
Yeah, we had a Healthy Wealthy Wednesday tip that was labeling your savings fund.
So y'all already did that. So it's no big deal for us, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So interesting that we're talking about this because our next guest happens to be a financial expert who you may or may not know. And we're going to be talking to him when we come back after this short break. So stick with us and we'll see you in a second. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, we have a very special guest on the show today, Brennan Schlagbaum. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
I practiced it. We practiced it together like 6 times before we started because I was very nervous. But I'm sure some of you are already familiar with him. But I am going to let Brennan tell you all a little bit about himself, what he does, and how you are involved in the financial world.
So I started off as a CPA at Deloitte, and there was 6 years I was there.
Wow.
And I realized I wanted to do really what was my purpose. You know, I really wanted to take this to the next level. So what I did is I created an Instagram account, and I did it for fun for 16 months with no profits. Well, all of a sudden one day the profits started showing up.
What?
And so I started looking at it as like long term, what do I really want out of this? Could I build a business? And that's what I did. instantly. And it was kind of an overnight success type of thing, but at the same time, it was 16 months of working to get there.
Did you make a video and it just went viral? Like, how did this...
It was 16 months of consistent growth. There was never a viral video that really hit me.
Yeah, it was just the work.
I wanted that viral video, but it never came.
Right.
Of course, everyone wants that, but like nothing ever came from that. And eventually, it just started taking off. I gained more followers. I grew my following count, and I felt more confident as a result.
You did it the right way.
I did. It was the long, steady way, right?
Yes.
So then I started building upon that and building a business outside of Instagram, and that's when I took that leap of faith and went into this full time.
Wow. Oh man, I feel like everyone's so interested in that. Like
it was
people
amazing.
that are able to use social media to like grow a business, which people really do now, and you've done it, and that's so exciting and incredible.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing on the page? Like, what is the purpose?
Yeah, so I basically talk about anything from personal finance that you could think of. So typically I talk about tracking your money, growing your money, and protecting your money. Those 3 bullet points are the most important from a personal finance perspective.
That is so cool. Wow, okay. Okay, so now tell me about your financial background.
So I'm a CPA. So I was in the public accounting field for 6 years at the Deloitte & Touche.
Okay.
And I made manager there. But it wasn't something I really wanted to do.
Right.
But I dug into 10Ks and 10Qs, and it wasn't my style.
Right.
I really wanted to help the individual. And I was helping these big public corporations, and it just wasn't something I really felt like I wanted to do.
Oh.
So that's why I kind of drifted away from that and took this to a personal level.
Have you always been a numbers guy?
I love numbers.
Even when you were like a kid? Were you like, I love math?
If Excel pops up, that's what I like to do.
Really?
Yeah, that's my hobby.
Oh my gosh, this is like so
My wife,
opposite.
on the other hand, is totally opposite.
It's probably like good, like yin and yang. Like
Exactly.
You can balance each other out.
A lot.
That's really cool. Okay, why did you switch careers and ultimately want to help people?
So basically I was helping my friends and family with personal finance, and I saw a lot of success with that, and I said, well, you know, if my brother can use help, my dad can use help, my mom can use help, my cousins, why can't everybody else?
Right.
They need this. And the statistics out there are horrible.
Yeah.
The success or the education on personal finance is bad. It's just what it is. So I wanted to bring a different element, not a financial advisor role, not a professional, although I have the CPA designation. I wanted to present it in a different, fun way. Something that anybody can pick up a phone and understand.
Right.
That's where I went with this.
How hands-on are you with your followers?
Very.
I bet that's a big part of it, right?
It is, and it means a lot to me. So when I'm going through my DMs, a lot of big accounts, as you grow, kind of ignore the DMs, and they kind of throw them to the side because they're too busy.
Yeah.
That's something I focus on. Because I know somebody's reaching out to me for some reason.
Right.
It might be a Forex bot, I'll throw them to the side.
And that will probably create some longevity with your followers as well, because they're going to feel like a personal connection to you.
Absolutely. I think that's what differentiates me from the average personal finance creator to me is I actually go that extra mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, something exciting, you're going to have a monthly segment on ROI TV.
Yeah.
So, okay, what can we expect to see from you in your monthly segment?
All right, so I really want to talk about the framework that BudgetDog kind of presents, right?
Okay.
And so that's tracking your money, growing your money, and protecting your money.
Yes.
And so to break down each one of those in a high level, right?
Yeah.
Financial statements, balance sheet, budget, amortization schedules. Those things have to work cohesively together to maximize your financials. If you don't have those, it's going to be a wreck.
Okay.
You piece those together and you feel very confident. Secondly, growing your money. You want to be able to actually take that money, once you know where it's going and you're tracking it, you want to be able to take that money and compound it naturally, right? Compound interest, and you want to start to invest.
Right.
So things like dollar cost averaging, low cost index funds, things like that are going to get you there. The biggest thing I talk about is a wealth triangle. So when I'm looking at a triangle of wealth, I'm looking at time, contribution, and return.
Okay.
If you can maximize those 3 things, you're going to be successful with investing.
Yeah.
And then third is protecting your money. So the correct financial products to be in from a tax account perspective as well as an insurance perspective. Making sure if somebody comes after you, are you protected in the right way? Those 3 bullet points is what I really want to focus on.
And it sounds like there's so much to cover.
It goes that's a high level detail.
Yeah.
It's going to go in very great detail.
Even the high level detail, it is loaded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're like so excited to have you here because, that is like the purpose is improving people's financial literacy. That's why, ROI TV is here. And
Absolutely.
like now you
I'm
get
glad
to
to
be
be
part
here.
of the team. That's
Yeah.
so exciting. Okay, so next question. Why are those 3 points so important?
Yeah, I think that's all you need.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of people go on the internet and they see all these fancy things. They want to see Forex and day trading and all these crazy get-rich-quick crypto type deals. You don't need that.
Right.
Is it could you put that in your portfolio at some point? Maybe. But you don't need to set the foundation first and then graduate into those things.
Yeah, that's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And the whole thinking just
I'll take care of it, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Like cryptocurrency, all of that. That lives like in the metaverse somewhere, like,
The metaverse is a new one.
Yeah, I know. We talk about it a lot here, and I can't wrap my head around it just yet, but I feel like we're all gonna have to.
I actually listened to a Zuck interview on the way up to New York City today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I love it. I think it's an extension of what we already do. So think if I was in Cincinnati and you were right here.
Yeah.
We could be on the same couch I'd be a hologram.
As an avatar.
You'd be looking at me as a hologram, but it would be more real.
See, I wanted someone on the show who was an advocate for metaverse, and who knew it would be you, Brennan?
It's surprising. A lot of people don't think I am because I'm so fundamental.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're like, I'm ready to put my hologram out there in the metaverse.
I think a lot of times like Zoom, everything that we do virtually, we're taking this and amplifying it to the next level. That's all it is. I think people get this scared like virtual reality, like
we're not going to be living in the real world anymore.
Yeah, I think people take it to that next level, and it's like it's not really that weird. It's what we do. It's just an extension of that.
Right. Okay, but would you go to an ALO yoga retreat?
I already have.
With your
I already have an
avatar?
Oculus. So I'm actually in the metaverse right now. I actually participate in different things.
Oh, I was like, you're in it right now?
Not quite.
Okay. You're raising my interest.
Yeah.
We need to have you back on just to talk about that because that's a whole other bag of tricks.
It's a big bag of tricks.
Yeah, we need to pick your brain about this. Okay. We digress, as we do over here on Coffee with Kem and Hills. Okay, who should be reaching out or following you?
Sure, I think the average American. I think anybody that wants to get their money right.
So you don't need to be like super financially savvy. Like it can be anyone.
No, it's simple. That's what I'm trying to make this to be. It's money is simple.
Yeah.
There's an industry that makes it complicated. With some respect, that makes sense. But for some people, it doesn't make sense. You don't need to always go to that high-flying guy in the suit that's going to pay you. I know I have a suit on today, but that high-flying guy that's going to say, yeah, I'm going to take care of your money and do it. You can learn this stuff pretty simply. I've self-educated myself entirely.
But you're a numbers guy as well.
I'm a numbers guy, of course, yeah.
But you know how to talk to those who aren't. And it helps that you're married to one, so the dialogue is working.
The dialogue started there. It started at home.
You're like, oh, I know how to talk to people like you. Okay,
Exactly.
I'm good at this.
Right.
I'm gonna build a whole business out of this.
That's where it started.
Well, we are so excited to have you here, and we're actually going to have you on the Wine Down tomorrow.
I'm excited.
I know, because you're going to get some wine.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to get a lot.
Yeah,
maybe
you're
that
going to get a
bourbon
lot
that
of
you're
wine.
talking about.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe we can bring on some more little special, treats. When we have special guests. Who knows?
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to talk about the shows airing today on ROI TV. Welcome back, everyone. Please remember, do not miss today's episodes of Elder Talk, Options Crash Course, and Browns in Suits. You can catch all of these on ROI TV, on Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and your phone apps on iOS and Android. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Kem and Hills. We will see you tomorrow. Bring your glass of wine for the Wine Down. See you then.